Welcome to Trust Your Innersense with Joanne Starkman podcast. I'm Joanne Starkman, and I look forward to going on this collaborative journey with you to ignite inspiration, inspire self-discovery, and instill new meaning in life. I'm excited to host a wonderful array of guests, including innovators, creatives, expert coaches, teachers, and much, much more who come together to share their stories. Each episode reveals how they've embraced their inner sense to pursue their passions and shine their unique lights in the world. We'll have thought-provoking discussions and chat about tools that will provide fresh perspectives to help you create a joyful and meaningful life. As founder and chief visionary officer of award-winning hair care brand Innersense Organic Beauty, I am also an avid meditator, platform artist, author, and mother of a special needs young adult. Over 20 years ago, I intentionally brought mindfulness to morning routines by authoring each affirmation on Innersense Organic Beauty's products, which we call Innerflections. You can check them out on the back of the bottle. It's my goal to have this podcast to be your warm and compassionate companion, whether you're on a journey for deeper meaning, seeking greater joy, or in need of love and healing. Let's continue our journey of self-discovery, self-care, and self-love. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive into this week's Trust Your Innersense episode now. Hello, friends. I'm super excited that you're here today. Welcome to the Trust Your Innersense podcast. I hope that this episode will give you lots of insights into not only curly hair, but much, much more, because as we like to talk about, it's not about the hair. I'm super excited for this episode and for this guest. This person has become a very, very dear friend of mine, and she's an amazing stylist, an incredible educator, such an inspiration in my life. And I cannot wait for you guys to get to know her. I'd like to welcome Casey Voss, the Curl Boss. Hi, Casey. So nice to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so looking forward to everybody getting to know all the things about Casey Voss and all the magic that you create in your life. So I have a ton of questions here, and we'll just kind of get started and see where that goes, if you're okay with that.
I'm super okay with it, and I'm super excited. So, yeah.
We're going to start with the Curl Boss girl. What made you focus on curls in the first place? You know, was there a defining moment, or can you just kind of give us a little insight into that journey?
Sure. So, defining moment, I would we're trying to keep this podcast in a reasonable amount of time. So, I'll think how far back I can go. But I think just looking, if you're watching the podcast, you can see that I am a curly girl. So, I think that was a moment, but it wasn't my moment. I didn't embrace my curly hair. I didn't like my curly hair. In fact, I spent many years trying to eradicate all curls from the world, And it wasn't until I got my family picture back here hidden by the ring light, but my oldest daughter hit, around 11, and her curly red hair started coming in. And I had been a hairdresser for many years by then and was straightening everyone's hair. And I just kept looking at her hair and wondering, is this what natural curls look like? Because I didn't have, mine were heat pressed, styled, flat ironed, all the things. And her hair was so beautiful. And it kind of put me on this path of, I wonder if this is what curly hair is like in the wild, because that's not what we see in the salon. We see years of trauma to hair, I would say, and different
to put it lightly.
Yeah, what are we doing? And and then, in high school, I shaved my head because I hated my hair so much. So I had such a hate relationship with curly hair, and explored into Sydney. And then from Sydney, I began to wonder, what would my hair have been like had I have not done these things, and started embracing it. And then at that time, I was I would say a straight hair specialist. My clients drove from all over to get their hair blown out and whipped into shape. I could make anything straight. And so that was what I did. And anyways, one client at a time and one revelation at a time for myself, one moment at a time of, what if this isn't broken? What if curly hair isn't something that needs to be fixed? What if actually
Mm.
embracing what is helps me to help women, which is what I wanted, was my clients to feel like they were good enough. And myself, honestly, we can give to others what we typically can't give to ourselves. So I think roundabout answer is I stumbled into curly hair, I was born with it, but I stumbled back into it. And now the Curl Boss is definitely a huge part of my persona, I
I
think.
love
Yeah.
that. No, that's a great part of your persona. And how exactly how just for the listeners, how long have you been doing hair then? When did you get licensed or
So I got expelled from high school and then worked my way back in. And they said, well, we got to get this girl in a program because she can't be at school. And at that time, my head was shaved. And they said, what about beauty school? And I said, absolutely not. And then they're like, well, you only have to go to school for half days, your junior and senior year. So I signed up. So if you start there, I was 16 and I'm 45. So almost 30 years in the industry.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
incredible. I don't know which direction to go, whether we should go with your clients behind the chair or talk a little bit more about education. I think I want to kind of keep on that vein of like just the magic that you create behind the chair. And can you talk a little bit more about like the Holy Spirit or the energetic exchange that happens with you and your clients? And specifically, I mean, obviously, it would be working with curly hair, but can you talk a little bit more about that? Like what
Yeah.
happens? Yeah.
Yeah, so I do think so for me, if we go back into what it is, like I used to pray all the time that I would be able to be a missionary. Like I just wanted to be a missionary. I really did. And I was like, I thought God was preparing me. Years ago, I took flying lessons. Like this is a true story. Because I thought God was like, and I was afraid to fly. And I thought he was calling me out. And I thought it was that I was going to live in a mud hut in Africa. And a little bit over time, like I'm not equipped for that. I don't have the hair for that, Joanne. Um, and I was terrified to fly. And little did I know, I mean, this all kind of ties in that my missionary work was going to be curly hair.
Mhm.
And it was going to be flying from place to place with you, my friend, and
Which I
Innersense and
love.
curly hair. Yeah. But also, so what I learned was that people were coming to me, that I didn't
Mm.
have to go out into the mission field, that this chair, so I'm in my salon right now, this chair that I'm so blessed that people come sit here, and this idea that I can exchange the confidence and the security and the authenticity that I have and sit with people who maybe don't know that about themselves. And it's really so I have a podcast called It's Not About Your Hair. It's really not about your hair. It's about this
Right.
power of loving others to the deepest level and allowing them a space where they feel safe and beautiful and perhaps for the first time in their life, not broken. And it's
Mhm.
so cool. And so that for me is the deeper work under the umbrella of being a curly hair specialist, but I'm a gal dang missionary for the transformation of people and one curl at a time. It's quite
Right.
lovely.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Well, that's incredible. I mean, I don't totally resonate with that. I mean, I used to say all the time it's not about the hair. It really never is about the hair. We always make it about the hair. I know I make it about the hair at times and then I have to remind myself, "Oh, child, it is not about the hair." So, yeah, definitely you need to check out Casey's podcast. You're in your 3rd season, is that right?
Third season of the It's Not About Your Hair podcast, and you're going to be a guest on the It's Not Your Business section of the podcast where we talk about business. But yeah, I do think it is so much deeper. I think our hair matters. Like now, it's so fun. Like if you go out with a group of curly girls, there's no amount of attention that isn't mesmerized. Curls are beautiful. But that same thing, this is what is so fascinating. And this is the same for our inner spirit as our external appearance, is that my hair, not understood, is not the kind of hair you stop to ask questions about. It's frizzy and crazy and
Right.
disordered and all these things. And I think that's the same with our internals. Like if we don't understand ourselves, we can be all kinds of crazy. But if you just
That's a
give
really
yourself
good
a
analogy. I
yeah,
love
right?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have
Yeah.
this little thing if you're watching that I created, the hair, heart, and happiness tracker. And there are pages inside of here because 2 pages are about your hair, but there's a lot of pages to fill in about your heart and your happiness because I see that all the time with my clients. I'm like, honey, what you're feeling right now has nothing to do with your hair. This is what your mom said to you in 4th grade, and you're
Mm-hmm.
55, and
Yeah.
you're still allowing that to hurt you. We
Yeah.
got to heal some of that because your
Right.
hair looks great,
Well,
Tina.
and it's not even just curly hair, Casey. I mean, I know
Every
for
hair.
me, kind of as I matured into my business and my craft, I found that I had a lot of fine hair people that were coming to me because I could really hold space for them and for the wounds around the fine hair and knowing how to treat it and knowing what to do and what not to do. And so, I mean, it is interesting. I mean, we definitely, the curls are, I think, are the loudest in the room, but I definitely want to encompass and invite in people with all hair because it doesn't,
All hair.
there's so many people that they don't like their hair, period. End of story.
So
They're trying
many.
to fix it, change it, whatever. So,
And if you're a
yeah. So,
fine-haired girly in the room, you need hair love prep spray. Just a little plug for my
yeah.
favorite product
Okay.
because it will expand that
Exactly.
hair.
Exactly. No, I love that. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about your education that you do. I mean, you're creating such an impact in the industry and in the community and everywhere for stylists and consumers alike. What inspired you to start teaching? I mean, I'm sure it was probably pretty automatic behind the chair, but you've really owned that and stepped into that and created courses, and you've got so much out there on the internet and so much curriculum. So can you tell us a little bit about your being a teacher? You're a missionary and a teacher.
Yeah, an evangelist. So that
There you go.
encompasses all of those things. Yeah, thank you. I stumbled into it much like most of my life. I feel like sometimes my life, and maybe I think you can resonate. I mean, I feel like if you know that you're on the path that's created for you, it's not as
Mhm,
hard. Like, it is
mhm.
hard. There are days that it's hard, but I feel like finally I'm in this. I'm not trying to be anything other than myself. And so the ideas and the thoughts of we should do this, I think they come from something greater than myself. Like, hey, so the online curriculum came from my wait list kept growing. So I got
Oh.
a lot of followers on social media. And then I was getting all this demand. And, hairdressers want to help everybody. And so I kept saying yes. And then the wait list got to 600 people. And I thought, if I'm being honest, because I've really learned to save space for myself and my family, which I didn't do in the first half of my career when I owned a big salon. I said yes to everybody. And I really do have a heart to help everybody. But I also know that when I don't have anything to give, you don't need to sit in my chair and you don't need to come to my house because I ain't going to witness to nobody. And so when the wait list kept growing, I thought, like, curly hair is not that complicated.
Mm,
And sometimes there's a lot of hype around that. Like, it's so hard to understand.
mm.
And I was like, you know what? I call it in the salon, I call it a first date. So a first appointment is a lot of like talking about your hair, trauma, your heart, helping people to unpack like just the narratives that it's not broken, and then a lot of basics. And I talk about Innersense organic. I talk about clean beauty. I talk about
Mhm.
guiding them into the world of like simplicity in their curly routine. And I thought, I bet I could make this a course for all those people who can't get into me or are waiting 2 years and like never getting a phone call from me because I'm the worst. And I created this course, not even thinking that it would be, I thought it was going to be for the people on my wait list. And it has just
Mm.
gone beyond what I could have imagined. And when I read the reviews from people that are like, hey, this, and a lot of, what I find most fascinating, Joanne, I
Yeah.
would say that the majority of my online consumer course people are 45 and older. I have some 70, 80-year-old women in the room that are taking
Aw.
this online course. And I think it's really a powerful connection for people to be able to learn the basics. So I walk them through. So that started with that. And it's just been lovely because I feel like they can learn about their hair and we can sit together and it's
Well, it
awesome.
makes the image that kind of comes up to me is just like what a deep connection you have with yourself when you're able to like not only fully embrace your hair but actually style your hair yourself, because we all know, it's
Yes.
always super fun to be able to go sit in somebody else's chair and your hair looks amazing. You did my hair the other day when we were in San Antonio, and of course I love it. I mean, I'd have somebody do my hair every day if I could, but
Mm.
there is something about like intimacy and connection, and the intimacy and connection that you have with yourself when you're able to actually style your hair and love it. right? So and
Exactly.
you're never too old for that,
Never too old. And I
or
think
never
that
too young either.
there's never enough time to figure
Yeah.
out who you are. But I think too, like, I do think that I have some magical hands when it comes to curly hair, but I also think that a great haircut really matters, but also just a
Mhm.
really great routine matters and really great products matter. And you can start where you're at. Like
Mhm.
if you can't get in or you can't afford to see a stylist. And then as far as the education space, that's kind of new to me as far as the online. I've been teaching in person for a while. I love teaching because, again, that same light bulb moment when I'm sitting in the room with a stylist and they're like, oh my God, I don't have to be afraid of this. Like, I have clients that come in. I had a client flew in from New York to get her hair done by me. And I always say, you should not have to fly.
Mhm.
You passed how many hairdressers on the way to me? I'm honored, but it's too much. We need
Right.
people in every room that can, when we walk in, they're not like, not it, like
Right.
stylists that are like, I'll do her hair. And
Right.
so, again, I can only leave my family so much, teach so much, at this stage in the game. So I thought, how can I start? And believe it or not, the online stylist course is more about mindset than it is about technique because
Mm.
it's the same thing. So when I'm teaching the consumer course, I'm teaching you got to overcome your fear of yourself to get into your hair. And with the stylist course, we're going over like, who are you blaming for why you're not where you want to be as a stylist? What's
Mm.
holding you back? Is it the
Mhm.
salon owner? Is it your parents? Is it your husband? Like, I think often
Is
in
it
our
your
industry,
clientele?
is it your clientele? Like, I hear a lot of say, well, I can't charge that. I live in this kind of area, or I can't do that.
Right.
So I wanted the online course to be a stepping stone for stylists to get comfortable knowing their self and what is their voice more than curly hair technique. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's just been fun.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You're such a inspiration and such a leader in our industry, and I feel so grateful that you're a part of the Innersense community for sure. So we are so lucky to have you. So thank you for all your passion and commitment that you do to teaching and educating. It's pretty incredible to watch from the sidelines. So with that idea of leadership in business, tell us about a lesson that you've learned maybe the hard way in business. Is there something that you can think of that, that maybe now you've kind of got the knack of or the hang of that you could kind of give some advice to those that maybe are following in your footsteps, either the stylist or the consumer or anybody, just like something that you've learned, maybe not so
Yeah.
easy, or like you're looking back and you're like, dang, I could have done that maybe a little differently.
Oh, for sure. Thank you for asking that question. That's a great question, right? Because we always like you look at someone, you're like, they're so successful or they have it all
Yes.
figured out. And that's a lie. So
Hmm.
I think for me at this stage in the game, having owned a big salon, multiple big salons, and now I own Salon Suites, and I have a couple other businesses that I think what I have learned the most is that I don't know anything. Like the
Yeah.
more I get further along, the more I'm open to always absorbing from those around me who can teach me something that I don't know or
Mhm.
recognizing when I'm feeling resistance to something. I just had you coach me through that with this trip I wanted to go on for work and I was a little bit nervous and I'm like, what is the resistance? So I think pushing through the resistance and believing.
Mm.
But I think a lot about if salon particular, if you're a stylist listening or a salon owner, I've been through a walkout, I've been through a fire. I've had so many things that if
Mhm.
you're a business owner for long enough, I've had employees leave. I've lost almost everything. And in those seasons, I think allowing the lessons to be learned, feeling the pain of like, what did I do? How could I be a better leader? What did I do that people wanted to leave? And then
Mm.
also like just trusting that people move on and that's part of life and that's okay. And giving, like,
Yes.
it doesn't have to be that I always did something wrong because I either flung one way or the other. Like, I would
Mhm.
get so in self depravity, like,
Mhm.
no one wants me. No one, to realizing like I was part of helping people go to the next step in their journey
Mm.
and being able to embrace that. And so if you're a salon owner and you have people that are leaving, that's so hard. It's
Yes.
such a natural and absolute part of the journey of a
Mhm.
stylist to come and to move on. It's like raising kids, especially if
Yes.
you are a training salon or a leadership salon.
Mhm.
And so I think my lesson is yeah, let people grow up, let yourself grow up, give grace to others as they transition, and nothing lasts forever.
Mhm.
So if it's a really hard season, it will get better. And if it's a
Yeah.
really good season, it might get a little hard.
Right.
And that nothing
Right.
stays the same. It keeps moving.
I love that. I love that. Well, how would you say you define success today, and maybe how has that changed over the years?
Joanne, you are a natural podcaster. This is good questions. I love it, my friend. I That's such a good question. So if you would have asked me 15 years ago, success would have been that my salon was booming, that
Mhm.
everyone knew who I was, that I was really making money. I drove the nicest car, and all of these things. And success to me, I wear this necklace. I think about this as a North Star. My North
Mm.
Star is that I will have balance in my life, that I will have created wealth in every area and not miss out on things and people that matter, and
Mm.
creating boundaries. And the more boundaries I've created in knowing myself, the more I've gotten in every area that I used to chase. It's so
Oh,
god
isn't
darn
that
crazy to me.
it's such a dichotomy, right?
It's kooky. I used to look at the money, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. But the more money we chase, the more money we're always chasing. And so for
Mhm.
me, it got really clear, like, what matters to me most? What mattered to me most in the season when I gave up, got rid of the big salon and came into a suite, was that I no longer missed a darn thing my kids were doing. And so that was the first year. The second year was, not only am I going to not miss it, but I'm going to get out on time, that I'm not rushing there hungry. Like,
Mhm,
just
yeah.
every time it was like, what can I do a little better in this? Like, and maybe I
Right.
can volunteer at the thing too. And so now it's like, really being able to go see my friends, and
Mhm.
being able to teach, because I love teaching, making space to learn new things, to explore new
Mm.
areas, to spend so much time every night walking, holding hands with my husband. Like, success to me is literally doing it all, but without knowing you're doing that much. Like, living in the flow
Yes.
of what God has created for me. And when it
Yes.
gets too hard, knowing what to say no to, like, even though
Mhm.
that's a great opportunity, I can't do that because it doesn't fit with my North Star. It's not in my path.
Right.
And so I just feel like a super success because I'm just like
Aw.
living my dream.
You are a super success. From my lens, you definitely are.
Oh, thank
Well, Casey,
you.
you've cultivated such a loyal and inspired community, and you're such a good collaborator. You're such a great collaborator. What role has collaboration played, and what advice would you have to other people looking to build authentic connections in our industry? I mean, maybe for the pro or just in general. Like, could you talk a little bit about how you collaborate, and how do you work that magic? Because you're just such a natural at
Oh, you're really sweet. So
it.
collaboration, I think probably, and again, that's years of trauma, experience of not
Mm,
collaborating, probably years of being afraid of competition, years of like, oh my God, we got to be better than the next guy. To learn that the more I released and gave, the more
mhm.
I lived in the freedom of abundance, that there's more, that I don't have to be a gatekeeper of anything,
Mm,
and to share my knowledge, because I always say this, first and foremost, I'm a curly girl. I'm being a curly hair specialist is what I do, but I am part of the club. I
right.
too am in pursuit of content that is good for my soul. I want to show up and be what I want to be. As far as collaboration, really the only thing I collaborate with is Innersense. But
Well, we love
I'm like,
that.
I'm
But,
sold
I mean,
out.
that's not true. I'm sure you have way more other collaborations outside of, I mean, maybe even just in your own personal life, you're gonna get off
Yeah,
this and be
I
like,
think,
"Oh, yeah, I have,"
yeah,
'cause all the businesses you have and things like that,
yeah.
you gotta be a team player, Casey. I know
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I think it is that idea that we don't like, I don't have to hold anything so tight. I don't own
Right.
anything, and to trust that there's more than enough. Like, there
Mhm.
is there I don't have to, like, I don't hold the keys to anything. So I think about just this fun example. We opened Salon Suites in our town. It was really fun. It was before it was a big thing. And then a young guy reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about opening suites in the next town over. Would you be willing to, like, talk to me about it?" I'm like, "My gosh, I so this is it. It just hit me. I want to be what I wish I had all
Yes.
the time for other
Mm.
people." So I'm like, "My God, what? Yes, yes, come in." Walked them through, showed them how, gave them the blueprints, told them what things were like. And the same with stylists. Like, how can I be a step ahead of what you're going to go through? Because you're going to go through it anyways. It's going to be hard. You might as well have some advice along the way, you know?
Yeah,
And
of
for me,
course.
yeah. And the same with hair. Like, I want someone to be like, hey, you should be milking that instead of raking that. That looks
Right.
like heck. Stop doing
Right.
that.
You said that to me. That was directed at me. I know.
Yeah,
I'm a
don't
raker,
rake
but
that.
I've become a milker since I've been around you, Casey. So, and my
Yeah,
hair's thanking you for it.
looks beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I want to talk a little bit about your North Star and, something when you feel a little bit out of alignment, could you share with us like maybe what practices or what mindsets you put in place to connect back with your own, inner sense, truth, North Star, like that place that's inside of you that guides you? What do you do for yourself when you feel yourself out of alignment?
Well, I pray. I think about often, I think we've talked about this before, but even Jesus went away to pray when things were hard. And so people look in the life of someone that you admire. So for me, faith is a huge guiding North Star for me. And being true to the idea, like I think this all the time, but all of the things that I'm looking for in my life and are called to do, I'm already equipped to do. So when that anxiousness
Mm,
or that feeling of resistance, I'm always like, is the resistance a protection or is the resistance fear? Because I don't want to
mm,
live in fear. So the
right.
only way I can fear is false evidence appearing real. So if I can quickly and now, analyze if it's fear, then I need to pray and surrender that because I do not need to live in fear because the
Mm-mm.
path is already out there for me. It's already in me. And even being brave enough so for me, I do everything when I don't know how, which
Mm.
I used to not do because I was afraid. I wanted it to not look stupid. I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. And that still bothers me, especially at hotels. That's an inside joke, Joanne. Like, remember Jody? I don't like looking silly, but I do think, I do think that I want to know that the thing that I'm being called to do or my North Star, like if I know I'm supposed to develop some online education, I had no idea how to do that when I started. So I just started filming the videos and then trusted that the next step would open up. And then I met someone who
Mm,
helps build those curriculums. And then I had the next step. And so I do the first step because I know that the path, if the idea's been given to me, then God will make through the provision for the door to be open or
mm.
closed. I just have to be obedient to the next step. And then it's like this whole so that's the North Star is if I prayed about it and I know that God's like, let's do this, then my business partner is the creator of the universe. So let's go, you
Yeah,
know?
I love that. That's amazing. Oh, that's great. Thanks, Casey.
Yeah.
So let's look forward a little bit. What's lighting you up, girl? Where's your what's, whether it be in business, in creativity, your work, your personal life, like what's feeding your passion right now? What's
Feeding my passion. So on Sunday, I hope this comes to fruition. My husband and I are buying a travel van.
Oh, yay!
Yeah,
Congratulations on
yes.
Mother's Day. How
On Mother's
appropriate.
Day. Yeah, the gift of the mother. And I'm taking the curl boss on the road. So I think, part of my North Star has always been to create a business that all of my family can participate in and be a
Mm,
part of and travel in. And God showed me this vision 100 years ago. And I didn't understand it because my kids were little and the things were happening. But I see these things in real time happening, and you realize like it's not this or that; it's all encompassing. Like the
mm,
van is going to be fun with my family, but I'm also going to be able to teach curly hair. I'm also going to be able to see my friends. I'm also going to be able to bless other people. Like and so for me, it is continuing to say yes to the things that are before me and to travel to new countries, which I'm doing twice this year, and to
woohoo!
see things that I've never seen with an openness and a willingness to receive and also to give and to spend a lot of time loving on people. And whether that's my people or new people, I'm so excited for just the next day, really,
Yeah.
tomorrow, and then
Yeah.
the day after that.
That's amazing. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's exciting. I'm super excited for you to pull up here in my parking lot outside with your
Cool.
what is it called? A Sprinter van, right? Is that
It's
what
a
it's called?
sprinter. Yeah, Aaron's got
Are you getting it
Lacey.
wrapped? Are you gonna that is my vision one of these days. I've always wanted a car that's wrapped or a
Yeah.
large vehicle that's wrapped.
Yeah, you should. If I was you, I would have Mrs. Innersense on the side, on one side, and Mr. Innersense on the other, and then the windshield wiper can be Morgan waving at
Morgan,
everybody.
yeah. On the
Max, you
back, that
can
would
be
be
on there
good.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's black on black with black rims and black tires. And so the wrap, I would love that. But my husband really doesn't want to be uh emasculate. I can't think of the word I'm thinking
Oh,
of, but he wants to,
emasculated?
yeah, he
Yeah.
wants to feel very manly in the
Right.
van. And
Right.
he wants to feel like people are like, oh my God, you got a van like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a giant magnet, Joanne, a giant magnet that when I'm in it by myself, that sticks right on the side.
Okay,
And the,
that's the fix. I might have to be following in your footsteps on that one because Greg pushes back all the time. Whenever I talk about a big old wrapped vehicle, he's like, mm-mm, no, he
yeah,
he likes to be on the DL.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
yeah, Adam wants to deal. Used
yeah.
to own a salon, and I'll tell you, this was my ego at an all-time high. I've just tell this quick story because I think it's so funny and embarrassing, but we might as well share it. So I owned a salon called Hair Peace, Peace. And it was like the year that I thought I had arrived. I got the car of my dreams. I couldn't afford it, but I wanted people to think I could. And so I bought this car I couldn't afford. And then I had a big sticker put on the back and it said, hair piece, need a piece, want a piece, get some peace at the hair piece. So dorky, Joanne. And I drove that car out of town like a moron. So it was short lived. I turned that car in 3 months after I bought it because I just was like, this thing is taunting me. It's like, because I felt like it was just, but that. So I have to be careful about my magnet.
Okay. We'll keep you in check there, right?
Yeah, keep me in check. Like, need
Well,
a
this
piece.
is this is fun, Casey. Okay, so just real quick, I know we've been blowing through the time over here, but
Yeah.
so what legacy do you hope to leave behind? Whether it's in, not just for curls, obviously, for the people that you touch, like the hearts, the lives that you connect with, like what do you hope to leave behind for people?
Ooh, uh, that's another good one. So Psalms 139, that he knew you before he formed you, that he knit you together in your mother's womb, that he comes before you and behind you and he's all around you, a hope. I want people to know that there is nothing about them that's a mistake, that they were created on purpose for a purpose, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made by the same creator that hung the stars in the sky and put us on this planet spinning out of nowhere, that you are intentionally and purposefully made and created. You're magic. You're
Oh,
star stuff. You're awesome. And if I
awesome.
can leave a few people with that message, my life will have been completely fulfilled.
Oh, Casey, here we are crying together, girl. I
Here we
love
are.
it. You are
Yeah.
amazing. You are the light. You are
Mm.
definitely a dear, dear, dear one to so many, to all of us. So thank you, Casey. Is there anything else that we can? I feel like we said it all here, unless
We
there's
said it
anything
all.
and any other things that I forgot about. Any
Just
other?
that I'm
Yeah.
honored to be your friend, that I think it's
Oh,
really awesome, the lives that you touch, Joanne, and the way that you do that. And
yeah.
all my clients are like, I can't believe you got to do Joanne's hair. And I'm like, yeah, I'm friends with her. And that's what's really awesome is these paths cross. And I think that they're all part of the plan put out for us. And I'm just really grateful to be
Oh,
here.
no, I feel the same. Gratitude just overflows for me to you, Casey. I just really
Mm.
appreciate our connection and our friendship. And there's way more to come, girl. We have a lot more fun to be had and a lot
Woo,
more
woo.
lives to touch. And I don't know, doing all the things, all the fun
Yeah.
things. And hopefully I'll be sneaking up behind you in Europe this year. So we'll see
Oh
how
my
that all, yeah.
God. Let's go. Let's go. Oh man, my husband's gonna be sad. He said no to that trip because we ain't ever coming back, Joanne. You let
Yeah,
these girls loose out there.
exactly. Exactly. Well,
So
thank you so much, Casey, for being here. And thank you to all of my listeners for listening. I hope that you got something out of this. There'll be plenty of show notes below. Please feel free to reach out to me at podcast@innersensebeauty.com if you want to connect on anything. We are here for you, and you can find Casey on Instagram. Is your handle the Curl Boss, Casey?
Voss, V as in
Voss.
Victor, Voss, the Curl Boss.
Voss, the Curl Boss. Okay. And then you have a website, a YouTube channel, your own podcast.
You can find me everywhere.
Casey's everywhere. And we're just going to put it all in the show notes. So you're going to have a lot of new stalkers, a lot of new fans, Casey.
I hope so.
Yeah. All right.
You are beautiful.
I love you so much, Casey. Enjoy your day. And I cannot wait to see that Sprinter van.
Oh man, I can't wait to bring it to you. All right. Have a good day, everybody.
You too. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode, dear friends. I would be thrilled to hear which part resonated with you the most. Your reflections on today's topic and how it sparked action in your life mean a lot to me. Feel free to share your thoughts at podcasts@innersensebeauty.com or leave a review. I look forward to you coming back next week to explore another exciting topic together. If you'd like to dive deeper, be sure to check out the show notes for some valuable links. Until we meet again, take good care of yourself. Know that you are surrounded by love and always trust your inner sense. Wishing you all the best, friends.